Hey everyone, Dalton Grados with Grados Capital here with a quick market update. I know I haven't made one of these in a while, but I wanted to give a quick update on the markets and a further outlook on the economy and how we can better prepare for the future. So it has been a rough start to 2021. Obviously, it's not every day that people storm the U.S. Capitol. A lot of things in world events. We're switching presidents. Very volatile time in the marketplace. We're talking about stimulus and what's to be expected there. This week we had Fed Chair Jerome Powell speak on the Federal Reserve policy. And we also had Biden unveil his stimulus plan for what's to come during his presidency. It includes $1,400 stimulus checks to make $2,000 total, adding with the $600 we already got. It also includes $15 federal minimum wage. And overall, the whole stimulus package is about $1.9 trillion in addition to the $900 billion that we already passed. And so in the short term, what's the market outlook? It's going to be very bullish. The market is going to keep going up. We saw a little bit of a pullback today in the marketplace, but that's okay. Overall trajectory is higher and higher as we keep printing money, we keep providing more stimulus. Easy money for the market is going to drive these prices higher and cause massive inflation. So if you're trading this market, expect to be very bullish, at least for the short term. Bullish on cryptocurrencies, bullish on stocks, bearish on the US dollar. So that's a quick market summary for the time being. Now, for the next part of this video, I want to talk a little bit more about the long-term future, because I don't know who's watching this channel, but I'm 25 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me, and I don't want to freak out. I want to be the least stressful media source in your life, but I also want to be mindful of what may be to come in the future so that I can be several steps ahead and start preparing and doing the right things now so that myself and my family and my lineage can prosper in the future. Now, right now in 2020 and 2021, we are seemingly printing endless amounts of money, providing more stimulus. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet has actually doubled, and we're inflating the economy. Now we must ask ourselves, where do we land this plane? And I'm actually going to borrow from a friend of mine, Jake Hoffman, who's a very successful entrepreneur in his own right, had this post. How do we land this plane? The facts are that 30% of the money circulating in the country has been printed in the last 10 months. That's going to increase as we spend more on stimulus plans and QE, quantitative easing. We've let people not pay rent or mortgages for what will end up being 2 years. We're looking at an estimated $100 trillion in debt by 2028. The real unemployment falls between 20 to 25% of the country. So what public policy are we going to implement that fixes the catastrophic direction we're heading? Thank you, Jake, for providing that post. I thought I would borrow it there. Now, I want to be very clear. This is a finance channel. This is not a political channel. However, we do have to look at what's going on in the world objectively and understand what's coming. At the end of the day, America cannot keep doing what it's doing without eventually facing the consequences. It's only a matter of time before the extreme inflation of the stock market hits the supermarket, the cost of goods, the cost of food. And the average person is going to have to struggle more and more just to meet the cost of living. Throughout history, it's just been a fact that as governments grow bigger, as we rely more on federal aid, that there becomes a wider gap between the rich and the poor. And the people that really should be watching this video are never going to see it. Because the people like us that are learning the ways of the market and learning and applying ways to make our money make money, we will be ascending into the rich class, the first class, if you will. The people that are just constantly living paycheck to paycheck, constantly trading time for money, working hourly, working on a salary, and those that are just fighting to get by and not getting smarter and letting their money work for them, but just always trying to work harder and harder, those are the people that are going to suffer the most. Now, it's going to happen over time, okay? Tomorrow's going to be okay. This year, I think, is hopefully going to be okay. But 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the future, with people my age, what are our futures going to look like? Our kids, our grandkids, great-grandkids. How is this country going to fundamentally change based on the government actions that are being taken during this pandemic time? And so if you look at any other nation throughout history, we're heading towards a place where there's going to be the rich and there's going to be the poor, and no in between. Just look at California, for example. California could potentially be a foreshadowing of what's to come in the United States. Everyone that could afford to leave California got out. And now the only people that are left are, again, those people that are just struggling to get by, that are possibly living in the streets, defecating in the streets. It's a really bad situation. And what my message to you today is, as we are on the Titanic and I'm looking ahead and I see the iceberg, and the only thing I'm thinking to myself is, you better be first class. You better be first class. You know why? Because first class gets lifeboats. And so just as many of our great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers had to make a decision to leave where they were at, to come to America, that not only provided themselves, but their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, all the way down to us with a better life, a better opportunity. There may be a time within our lifetimes that we may be the ones to have to make that same decision. And so I'm actually reading this book right now. This is not a paid promotion or anything. It's called Nomad Capitalist: How to Reclaim Your Freedom with Offshore Bank Accounts, Dual Citizenship, Foreign Companies, and Overseas Investments. And it's a worthwhile read. These are just things to think about. Again, I don't want to freak anyone out. It's going to happen over time. But our job as traders, think about it. We look at what's going on. We try to remain as objective as possible. But we see what's going on. We then formulate a strategy and then execute that strategy with the intent that we will profit from it. So we do that on a short-term basis in our trades, but we also want to do that on a long-term basis with our lives and with our lineage. So the objective for today, the objective for this month, for this year, for the next 5-10 years is, if you're not in first class, fight to get in first class. And that's what we're doing here at Great Oaks Capital. I appreciate you guys for watching. When there's the rich and the poor and no in between, the rich will be able to save themselves. As Americans, we can love our country, we can be very patriotic, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for ourselves and our lineage. And as this motto of this book is, go where you're treated best. And so I think about that, and I think about the fact that, long after I'm gone, my great-great-grandkids might be even watching this video. And so the choices we make today are going to affect them. And so you better get to first class. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please be nice. This is meant to be a civil place for discourse. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.